We're back at it. I'm Jason, he's Matt, and this is Between the Posts, where we talk Premier League matches, all 10 games. We'll give you leans and bets for all 10 games. How's it going there, Matt?
Oh, it's going fantastic. Friday afternoon, Friday morning, wherever you are. It's very nice, and IU's getting ready to play, and just exciting with March Madness coming and all of that too. And of course, after the PSG debacle this week, it just European footy right now is just it's fantastic, and I'm just excited to break these down with you as always.
Are we surprised that PSG had another classic meltdown? Up
Not
against another
really.
Spanish side? Yeah, not too really.
I just cannot believe that they dominated the tie essentially for 140 to 150 minutes basically, and it just wasn't enough. The Donnarumma thing just spiraled it out of control. I cannot believe the
Uh,
freaking Donnarumma thing like that. I I put together that bet what I had, and I really don't think that I could have done it any better than what I did. I think I called the game as good as I possibly could have, and then Donnarumma does something that stupid from a world-class goalie. I mean, everyone makes mistakes, and it is what it is, but it just flipped the game on its head, and next thing you know, like, I'm there holding the bag and take the L.
yeah, and PSG certainly couldn't recover from that huge momentum swing, and obviously then the crowd gets behind it. Yeah, no, exciting midweek Champions League. What about Thursday? Did you get any of those Premier League bets? I went 5-0 yesterday in the Premier League. Swept it, baby.
So
Woo!
So I did get a couple in. I had, we talked about some of them the night before, and I should have still sent a text message. I was just so busy yesterday with work and so focused on this meeting that I had. But the Villa. I had Villa. I had to just continue to ride them, and Villa was really what it was all about. That was kind of a big play for me. But
Nice.
I'm kind of kicking myself a little bit. I wish that I didn't have as much work as I did, because I'm pretty confident that I would have gone 4-0 as well on that. I thought that you and I both had great reads, so that's
Mm-hmm.
why when we come together, it's always a good thing.
Yeah, it definitely is. All right, well, let's keep the good times rolling. We're on to match week number 29. We got Thad along with us. Anybody else who's hanging out with us, drop a comment in there. Let us know what your best bets is as we go along, and hit that like button as well if you're going to go ahead and follow us, or if you're just enjoying the content. We'll let Matt go ahead and kick it off first. His Liverpool is traveling to Brighton this weekend. How's it going down?
Yeah, I mean, Liverpool kind of have look at this. I mean, they have triple revenge on Brighton here. They've drawn twice out of their last three, and they've taken an L to Brighton. And Brighton are not in a good way right now, though. I mean, they've lost four straight. They're not even really creating as many chances as normal. That's what you think of with Brighton, is they create so many chances, but then they fail to be clinical and finish them off. Now they're not doing either of them, and I'm sorry, like, Liverpool is still just they're another level. I think that Brighton are good. I think that they'll step up to play Liverpool. I think that they'll feel pretty good about playing them, having collected 5 points in the last three head-to-heads. So I think that this match will be still tight, and it's getting towards that time of the year where players are, they're getting fatigued a little bit, but Liverpool's constant rotation in between, with some of these, the Champions League allowing five subs, little things like that. I'm sorry, like, Liverpool they're just too deep. Like, let's say if this is 0-0 at the 60, 70-minute mark, in comes some promising players that can impact the game, where Brighton doesn't really have that. And but again, I do think that Brighton's defense is still capable for this bet. And I think that Liverpool, I think that they have a great chance anytime that they play to keep a clean sheet. So it's Liverpool under 4.5 goals for me, minus 110. I feel very, very strong about it. I think it could even be maybe a 2-unit play, but I've kind of gone with another angle with Liverpool later. I've also included them in a parlay with City, which is what I've just been continuing to do every week, and I will continue to do it until it fails.
I think you hit the nail on the head, quite well there in your analysis. This is the classic, how much you're going to put into head-to-head, or how much you're just going to kind of put into what are you kind of seeing in the current season, in the current form. Because if you're looking at current season, current form, you're going to jump all over that Liverpool. But there's enough hesitation. It's like, what is Brighton doing that they give Liverpool all kinds of fits? I mean, you said it perfect. 2 draws and a Brighton win in the last 3. I mean, that puts me off just a little bit. But the fact is, we talk about teams playing better at home. Brighton's 33 points, only get 14 at home. So this isn't a team that, hey, you're a Crystal Palace. You come here and we're dramatically different here on our home turf. That's not what you're seeing right there. Liverpool is leading the league with 70 goals scored. I'm on that same bet with you. Liverpool and under 4.5. I couldn't agree with more. The head-to-head scares me a touch. But nah, I'm going to go ahead and back the far, far, far superior team in this one.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you right there with everything you said too, Jason. And just like, it's one of those almost where it puts Liverpool on red alert because of what has happened the last 3 head-to-heads. You know what I mean? Like, they should come in slightly more focused than what they have maybe in some of those prior head-to-heads. So.
Yeah, I think so exactly as well. All right, the next one here is going to be a good one here. 2 teams more towards the bottom of the table right there, and Brentford versus Burnley. There are a couple things here that gives me hope that maybe Burnley can actually go ahead and do this. And we've been finding spots that when Burnley can perform. Well, they beat them 3-1 in the reverse fixture. And when I look at that, it's like, well, why is Burnley performing so well against Brentford in the reverse fixture? Well, this is a Brentford team that's not really a Premier League team, folks. I mean, they were down in the Championship last season. So this is a team that Burnley, I think, can handle pretty well. And to me, the books have this priced at the point where I'm going to go ahead and take it. And I'm going to put 2 half units on this one. I'm going to put a half unit on Burnley team total over 1.5 goals because it's at plus 285, and that's just too much for me. Burnley, this isn't a game that they're going to get outmatched on. This is a championship team. I mean, they're going to be in the Premier League next season, so I don't want to talk too badly about Brentford. And then they are at home where they do play better. But you give me plus 285 for Burnley to score 2 goals. I like that. And Burnley can keep a clean sheet against anybody on this damn planet. And you're going to give me the clean sheet at plus 270? Okay, well, that's where I'll go ahead and drop my other half unit is on Burnley clean sheet at plus 270. We know we're going to get from Burnley. This is an opportunity where they're going to see this as a massive opportunity to get 3 points to help them out of relegation. They're not going to play too defensive as they have been, to try and get 1 point up against these, Tottenhams and Liverpools and Uniteds that they've been going up against. But if they get up 1-0, they'll have no problem reverting right back to that defensive shell and just grind out a result. So I'm hoping Burnley can get a goal and just grind it out from there on, and maybe they get a second. So to me, the value at 285 and 270 with how Burnley plays and the opponent, too much for me. So half unit on each of those for me.
Yeah, I decided to pass this game. I don't love the looks of it, but there's no way that I'm on the Brentford side here. It really would be Burnley or pass for me, trying to find a way to get on Burnley, like plus a quarter of a goal. Really take a look at some of the lineups. You could find an edge here in these lineups. I think that the unders probably are a bet, and you might just need to suck up the juice at minus 160 to minus 170 on under 2.5. Like, it's not great, but I know that I think Burnley they're just so solid, and I could see them keeping a clean sheet, like you said, really against anybody. But yeah, pass for me. Really don't need to dive in too much more on this one.
Okay, I did. I'll always reveal it when I get to my official bets, but I did have Burnley in the double chance at minus 140 as well. That's a full unit play. Burnley double chance minus 140 up against Brentford.
Yeah, I absolutely like that one.
All right, let's move it around now to Tottenham versus United. Boy, why don't you go, or should I go first? You go first.
You should go first here.
I'm nervous, man. I'm nervous with Tottenham's little bit of inconsistency. United's full on struggling. I'd like both teams to score in over 2.5. That may be my strongest lean because none of one of these two clubs are all that great on anything. I think trying to pick a winner is difficult. Old Trafford's obviously not scary, and certainly not scary with this current team. Tottenham, man, that inconsistency worries me. It's like they have a good performance, and then they followed up with a bad performance. At least you're getting another big boy team where maybe they shouldn't have that much of a drop down. So to me, both teams are scoring over 2.5 feels right. I haven't quite locked it in. Maybe with what you say, maybe then I'll go ahead and jump on the sportsbook and bet it. So what are we doing here, Matt?
I don't think that you're going to love what I really have to say about it because I don't have a strong feel on this one. I think that this match is so tough. I mean, you're betting on two teams. Like, I don't understand why you even want to bet this kind of match in a sense. You know what I mean? two teams that you just don't know what you're going to get on any given day. I think that there is value here slightly on Tottenham. If I had to look at something, I'd be looking towards Tottenham, in the double chance or plus a quarter, but I can't trust them. I cannot trust them. I'm not going to get blindsided with just, they go and they win 5-0 against Everton and just to think that everything is all okay. I mean, I know that I had a nice banker with them against Leeds, but that was Leeds. I mean, they're in such a bad form. So I just don't know what I'm getting here really from either side. So what I would say is I think that this is an in-play look. I think that you feel this one out in play. I do trust it. I like Antonio Conte a lot. I do trust him, especially in some of these big matchups, to set his team up well. I think that Tottenham are always a team that is tough to play against in terms of the counter attack. I love Khalif's look there. I hope that it is 3-0 to Liverpool. And I also, Thad, I like that too. I mean, I think that he's in agreement with you there, Jason, on that one. But this one again, I think that you're probably right in a sense of both teams to score over 2.5. You're not picking the winner. Yeah. So I think that that's the best way to go. I don't know who is going to win this game. If you made me bet this, I would take the draw at plus 260. Just go right down the middle because I really don't know who's going to show up. And I could see a 1-1. I could see a 2-2. And really, until lineups come out, not interested. And I probably won't be interested even when the lineups come out. So I would say looking live, seeing how the tactics kind of set up, seeing what kind of one-on-one matchups maybe that – because I love Son. Like, I think that he's on any given day, he could exploit a matchup against someone. So, but no real feel here.
Okay. Now you convinced me to go ahead and lay off, and I'll be watching the game, obviously, as a fan and certainly as a supporter. So, maybe I'll live bet the over or the under once you kind of got a feel for how those clubs are going at it. All right, let's move it along now to Chelsea versus Newcastle. And having just watched that entire Chelsea game, boy, do I feel like I want to see lineups. Like, I'd like to do a both teams to score and over 2.5. You can get that at plus 145 over at DraftKings. But if they put Conte in, then maybe I don't. But if they want to, do a Saul or Ruben Loftus-Cheek, I mean, Norwich was all over Chelsea in that second half. I was so nervous of my minus 1.5 Asian handicap. It just felt like a Norwich goal was coming, and sure enough, it certainly did come. If they have better players, they probably get a second goal, to be quite honest. But then Conte came in and the game just settled on down. So, boy, I would just like to see lineups to know what they're going to do because obviously they've got the big Champions League second leg coming up there in midweek. So how do they handle that in terms of a lineup perspective? I'd like to think Newcastle can score depending on that lineup. And at plus 145, boy, if you get the right lineup, jump all over both teams to score and over 2.5, folks.
I love where you're coming out here. I look at this line and I think, okay, look, it's in between European – a big match, in the Champions League, like you mentioned. Yes, that one is really done and dusted.
Yeah.
So that's what sucks. I wish that it was closer, so they were more focused on that because I think that they just know they're going to be able to shut up shop and get through to the next round. I think that Newcastle here at 10-1 are far too big, though. I think I could see an upset on the cards. I think that Chelsea are bound to be upset. I don't think that they're playing that well. I think that Newcastle are playing really well. I mean, look at the form that Newcastle's in right now. They're doing well. They're the new players that they've brought in have quickly adapted. I think you go back. I mean, I do. Yeah, Newcastle has won. In this match before, it hasn't been at the Bridge. I mean, this is going to be tough. I don't know. Just look at it, though. Newcastle, unbeaten in their last 9 Premier League matches. And you're going to give me, like, a nice price on I think that this is, like, a ladder play. I think this is a Newcastle +1, Newcastle double chance, Newcastle money line. I think that you have some legitimate shots on all of those. Newcastle double chance +250. I mean, you get, not Newcastle +1, Newcastle +1.5. I'm very interested in that. So yeah, I'll probably wait to see the setup. I don't think that this line is moving very much, so I don't have to rush into it to bet it. Um, but it is one that I'm keeping my eyes on. I don't have it as an official right now, but I would definitely keep in mind, like, I would check Twitter, maybe for one of our accounts. I would check lineups here, and I think that if you get an A+ Newcastle lineup, and like you mentioned, no N'Golo Kante takes in, you can't tell me that 10-1. It's gonna, one, that will shrink. It will go to 9. But the other thing is, I think that they're live. I think they're very live.
Yeah, and now they're kind of playing free, right? They've had such good results. They're kind of up out of that relegation threat, so they're a dangerous team.
They're dangerous right now. The unbeaten in 9. I'm telling you, man, the double chance at +250. Like, this is a ladder play. Like, you get a +2. Like, first of all, is Chelsea really? Do they have this scoring ability to blow teams out by more than 2 goals? I don't see it.
Well, not if they want to keep punishing Lukaku and only bringing him on for, cameo at the end like they did yesterday against Norwich.
Yeah, the more and more that I look at this one, the more and more I love it. I think that I don't do those ladder plays very often, but every once in a while they're worthy of it, and this one makes some sense to me. So I definitely like the roadside here.
Okay, cool. It sounds like no official bet from either one of us at the moment. Let's move it over now to Everton versus Wolves, a Wolves team that you've rightfully so have been on it a little bit a couple weeks before me. I obviously jumped on that Wolves train yesterday there going against Watford and got a nice good plus money cash. I'm right back on Wolves this weekend against Everton. Double chance, -150. You can get it at DraftKings. I always talk about -150 is my threshold. I don't like to pay that high, but you know what? I have a threshold. You can get it right now, -150. Just do not see Wolves losing this match. Okay, they draw, cool. I'll go ahead and get a cash, but Everton is absolutely atrocious right now. They're full on in that relegation fight. They're in serious damn trouble. And Wolves is full on clicking. So, yeah, loves Wolves defense. I think they'll make it really frustrating and hard on Everton all game long. So at -150 on a double chance, I'm right there with Wolves.
I'm right there with Wolves too. This is my best bet of the weekend. It's probably, in that obvious range, but I don't care. Everton are just, I'm looking at a team and I see a team in Wolves with continuity, and I look at a team in Everton and I see some turmoil. I mean, the new manager, they're slow, they're unathletic. I thought that Jamie Carragher put it brilliantly after they got dusted up 5-0. He said, "I look around this and you see Allen and you see Michael Keane. You see players that they're unathletic. They have problems coping with speed and transitions, and I worry for them. I just see a team, with much more. Not necessarily that Wolves have a lot more talent. I think that these two teams on paper at times you'll look at it and go, interesting. Like for a lineup checker perspective, you look at it and you're like, okay, so Calvert-Lewin's in, Richarlison's in, like their lineup looks decent.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't matter with these two. Like Wolves they're just so much better. So I went with Wolves plus a quarter for a 2-unit play. I think that they win the game. I'm surprised that Everton are being priced here. And another angle to maybe look at, in the last 14 away matches for Wolves, they have not been beat at halftime. They're a team that sets up tactically perfect, and they don't allow early goals on the road. Thus, looking at Wolves, draw no bet, plus 112 right now at Barstool in the first half. That makes a ton of sense. You might get your money back, but I think that you could win at a nice dog price in the first half. Like, I'm just on the better team here, and the better team is Wolves. The table right now in this season, we talk about it, Jason, all the time. It doesn't lie, and I'm going to roll with the better team.
The only other angle you could maybe do is an under 2.5, but man, Everton has just been kind of so bad. I don't really want to put that threshold on a Wolves team that is just full on clicking, but maybe that is another possibility that you look at. All right, let's go ahead and now move to discussion versus Leeds versus Norwich. And before we do that, if you were on last week's episode of Between the Posts, we talked about Leeds going down to relegation on FanDuel was at plus 195. If you commented on that last video, you got your name in the hat for a free giveaway to go ahead and be the winner of that. There were 4 people that did that. You know how we do free giveaways around here. We put the names in the hat and we do a random number generator. So one of these people is going to hold a ticket for Leeds to be relegated at plus 195 to win $195. Let's see. And it fell on number 1, who is Ashley. And Ashley's actually here in the live chat today. It's Ashley, and his real name's Brian. I think he uses his girlfriend's account or wife's account. Sorry, wife's account. But it's actually Brian. So, Brian, congratulations. You were holding on to Leeds to be relegated.
Brian, Ashley, congratulations.
Yeah.
I love that.
At plus 195, man, I would say it's pretty much a 33% chance. You're looking at Leeds, you're looking at Burnley, and you're looking at Everton. Leeds goes down, you got $195, my man. All right, there it is. Let's go ahead now and move it on to this game. The angle I like in this game is the same thing I did last week when I was able to correctly predict both teams to score when Norwich versus Brentford, and I got a cash. Look, guys, this is bottom feeders. This is going to be maybe one of the most exciting games on the entire weekend, and that's what you get with relegation fights, and this is a full-on fight, man. Norwich obviously got to keep on going for it. Norwich, every game just has to try and get 3 points. 1 point doesn't do Norwich any good at this point in the season. And Leeds, they need points. They're struggling. So both teams to score and over 2.5, I think, is a fantastic look at this. And this is going to be another cracker of a game. We sweated out both teams to score last week in Norwich-Brentford. It came late, but Norwich deserved it. Norwich played outstanding that second half in Chelsea. If we get that performance, both teams to score and over 2.5 will cash easily.
I love it. I quickly glanced over this one, Jason, but the more and more that I start to think about, okay, what Norwich was doing in the second half against Chelsea, like you mentioned, if you can punish Chelsea, like obviously they weren't clinical, but if you can come at them in waves, a defense like Chelsea, like that's saying something. And then you look at Leeds' defense, and it's just in shambles. And so I looked at this one. I said, Leeds are minus 175, really? I think that is maybe the sucker bet of the weekend. I would go nowhere near towards Leeds minus 175. They might win. I love Jesse Marsh. Maybe he puts together a good game plan, and they beat a scrubbish Norwich side. But something tells me here they are on upset alert. This game has goals in it. There's going to be flair. And I think that both teams to score at minus 134 makes a ton of sense. And like you mentioned, combining it with the over 2.5 makes probably even more sense in terms of a juice perspective. And not an official play here for me, but this, again, like Newcastle, it's starting to trickle into that region where, I have some serious interest.
Nice. I like how we supposed to see just a cracker of a game there between relegation battles. Dad also asked a good question on what is shots on target for that. He's been around here. He knows that's a common prop bet for me. DraftKings, for whatever reason, plays that stuff Friday afternoon. So will be a good follow on Twitter if we'd like the numbers if they come in at. I think you can definitely obviously look at an over, Thad. I mean, I'm with you. You're probably thinking an over. Yeah, I'm with you there, but let's just wait till DraftKings gives us the number, and then we'll go ahead and maybe possibly pull a trigger on that. But yeah, that game's going to be good, boy. And Leeds has been struggling to score, but it's Norwich. I love that game. It's going to be a good one, folks. All right, let's keep it around right now. Southampton versus Watford. Whoa, what has happened to Southampton, Matt? 2 straight losses and really bad performances against Villa and Newcastle. Okay, we just talked about how Newcastle has certainly turned it up, but I didn't expect them to get beat by Newcastle like that. What's going on over there at Southampton?
Yeah, that was surprising that they got beat, but I think that you and I were both in agreement. We're like, well, let's just look towards the goal angle here. Like, I'm not that interested. So I think that the Villa game was weird. I think that Villa they were extremely clinical. I still believe in this Southampton team. I still believe in Ralph Hasenhüttl, but you know what else is how much I don't believe in Watford. So I am not sure exactly how the game will flow in this one. Like, I don't know if there is a lot of goals because Watford's defense can just get shredded at any given time. But I could see this one being unders. I could see this one being over. So I'm not sure really on the total perspective. Thus, I just decided to not complicate it, Jason. I don't do this very often at this kind of price range, but I found a rogue price that was just under minus 160 here, and I decided to take it. I am just going to go with the home side here, Southampton. I think that they are still far better than Watford. And I think that when you just look at Watford in general, they have a lot of problems. And I think that at home here at St. Mary's, I think that Southampton are the better side. And I think that they do warrant, even with back-to-back losses, I think that they warrant this price at home. Um, and yeah, I think I was looking towards the Southampton and over 1.5, like that is pointing out. I just didn't see like it didn't give me as much value as really what I was going for, and then I was just in that range where I was like, look, I'm not going to complicate it. I think that Southampton win the game, and I don't really know exactly how it's going to go, but Southampton win.
Yeah, if there's going to be a bounce back spot, it's certainly the right opponent, to kind of go ahead and get out of your 2-game rut there and get a nice bounce back win against Watford. Yeah, the over 1.5 doesn't move it down that much. I think I kind of get your feeling right there on why you may have done that. All right, what about West Ham versus Villa? This could be a good game. Could be low scoring, could also be high scoring. You got obviously 2 good offenses in West Ham and Villa, but then 2 really, really good defenses in West Ham versus Villa. So I was conflicted on this one. I could not find a bet for this one. I think it's just kind of a sit back and, as you kind of got the TV remote in your hand, you're bouncing around 20 minutes at a time. Stop on this one for 20 minutes. I think it'll be a good game, but it could go over, could go under, just with what you've been seeing. I don't know. Just not a great grasp on this one.
Not a great grasp on this one for me either. I mean, I think that this is similar to the United Spurs match where it's like, even when the lineups do come out, I'm more than likely not betting it. I just don't see a ton of value. I mean, look, West Ham, the one thing, okay, so West Ham have kind of owned the head-to-heads in this one, but I would almost throw those out the window because those weren't with Gerrard, those weren't with Coutinho. I mean, this Villa side is a lot better than some of those that they've, when they've been beaten to West Ham in the past. And so that makes me put pause on the head-to-heads. Then when you look at form, West Ham have lost 3 straight in all comps. They're on the back of traveling to Sevilla and losing in a grinder 1-0 matchup where they could have, escaped with a point, but the XG battle was like 1-1 basically, and they end up losing. And that is that's going to be a problem. That the fact that this isn't a team that is that used to these big European nights yet. I think that they will be here maybe in the future. And then you've got this Villa side that are just kind of rested, ready. They've kept a clean sheet in all of their last 3. Something tells me that they are clicking. I would not want to bet against Villa. If I'm looking anywhere here, it's siding with Villa in some way, shape, or form on a handicap. I'm going to throw out the head-to-heads. And I'm going to say that Villa is going to be able to hang here. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, they can certainly hang. They more than hang. I mean, damn. I mean, they've been on an impressive run. They could more than hang in this matchup, as you said. I don't know. I got to – what was the easiest bet yesterday? Under 2.5 in Sevilla, West Ham. Oh, my.
Yeah.
The books had it juiced at like minus 190, so I had to drop it in a parlay. I couldn't play it as a single piece, but I was playing that in some parlay. That was such an easy winner yesterday.
That was brilliant. So I look at this one again, Jason. I see Villa plus a quarter at minus 110, and that's where I'm going here. I think that they can avoid defeat. I guess.
Yeah. Okay. All right. There we go. There for Villa. All right. For this matchup here, there's a second to last one is Arsenal versus Leicester. It feels like to me that both teams to score an over 2.5, which we've been playing in Leicester matches, has a pretty good feel. I mean, I know Vardy's out, but they still have Daka, they still have Iheanacho, obviously Barnes around. So I think they still have enough attacking quality to at least slip one past Arsenal. But don't kid yourself. I still think Arsenal is certainly the better team, and certainly at home they're the better team. I expect Arsenal to get 3 points. Certainly no worse than a draw, but I even expect Arsenal to go ahead and get all 3 points. So I couldn't quite do Arsenal's team total. I thought maybe just go ahead and back Arsenal team total, but you had to be willing to go all the way to 3 goals and like that, so to speak. But you know what? At this one here, when I just kind of see goals from both squads, both teams to score and over 2.5 feels right. It's a bet we've obviously cashed. So I'm going back to the well here in the Leicester match with both teams to score and over 2.5 and that plus money. Yep, all day. DraftKings, by the way, plus 105 at DraftKings.
Plus 105 on both teams to score and over 2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
DraftKings.
mean, I looked at Arsenal. I think that they win. I think that they're better. but at this price range doesn't really get me like excited to back them. And then I was looking at Arsenal and over 1.5, and it doesn't give you any value. Yeah, I would probably agree with you. Like something tells me Leicester are still more than capable to score here, even though Arsenal at home, like they've got a pretty good defense. Uh,
They
this
do.
one is tough. I really think this one is tough, and Arsenal, they've kind of owned Leicester a little bit. I mean, they've won 3 of the last 4, so that's nice. Leicester didn't score in a couple of those. Um, I don't know what to say here, Jason. I mean, something weirdly tells me this is also like an Arsenal and under 4.5 too. Like I can see this being tight because I think that Leicester's defense isn't as shaky as what it was a month ago. You know how bad they were a month
Mm-hmm.
ago, and we were ripping every team, whoever they were playing. They're going to score on them. They're going to score on them, and Arsenal will score here, but I think it'll be more difficult than what it would have been a month ago. I can't fully trust Leicester to score on the road at the Emirates against a pretty solid defense. Something tells me here, if I had to play it, and this was one that if I were to like the lineups here, Jason, I think it would probably be Arsenal and under 4.5 at -110.
Arsenal under 4.5. Yep. I think Arsenal's going to go ahead and win that game. But come on, Leicester, find the back of the net. Let's get a nice 3-1 win there. Arsenal 3-1. Make everybody happy. All right, last
Yeah.
match is on Monday afternoon. It's Crystal Palace versus Manchester City. I'm sure everybody's on Manchester City, as we always are here. Palace at home. I don't care. They've been playing better at home, but I don't care. This is City coming in town. So it's just always about finding the right bet. And maybe you found the right bet.
I found the right bet, and it's called just don't complicate it. I don't ever know how to play city matches in a sense of sometimes there'll be some good. If I'm looking at them, like city and unders generally make sense to me just because of how they control games. But then next thing you know, that they just decide to turn up on the day and they'll score 5 on you. So they're hard to gauge on that. Um, so for me, I just decided to not complicate it, and I'm just continuing to bet this on every show. I mean, until it loses, and I'll probably, even if it does lose, I'll bet it again. I mean, I think that City and Liverpool are another level than anyone else, and I'm going to continue to say that. I think that they're the 2 top teams probably in world football right now, and the fact that I'm getting a plus price at plus 105, I know that they're both on the road, but I know that going to Palace
Doesn't
isn't
matter.
easy, and I mean Palace have the DNA to cause City problems because of their counter-attacking ability. Like these are the kind of games where Zaha can shine because he will get some space every now and then. Um, but again, I just think that City they're just too good, and I think that Liverpool are too good for Brighton, and so I'm rocking with it. It's another one. It's the most obvious parlay of your life, and but at plus 105. If I'm getting a plus price on it, I've bet it at -130. So now that they're on the road, I get a plus number, and I'm more than happy with it.
Hey, if it keeps cashing, keep on playing it. Brian's thinking it like I am. I'm waiting to see what DraftKings gives me for corners, shots, and then if I don't like that, probably always revert to good old Manchester City team total or score in the berth has. So I'll be betting this game. It'll be on Monday. It'll be the only thing in town. We'll be kicking off a new week here on Winnie Bet, so we'll need some action. So we will be betting that game. I won't give you a bet yet, but yeah, I'll be throwing my money somehow behind City in some fashion. You can bet it. All right, let's go ahead now and get into our official bets. I've got to actually pull mine up here. I made one bet while you were talking. You convinced me of one, so let me shrink that way down. All right,
All
there's
good.
mine. There's mine. Let me get my other one up. There's my half units. Why don't you run through yours first, and then I'll do mine.
Yeah, I've got Wolves plus a quarter on the road at Goodison. I just think that they are so solid offensively, but even more so defensively to not get beat in the match. I'd be shocked if Everton won the match. So that's kind of my reasoning there. Liverpool and under 4.5. I think that they get it done in a 2-0, 3-0. Southampton money line. It's a weird one. I think that you could also find a way if you wanted to, like Southampton money line combined with something else if you don't feel comfortable laying it. But it's not really a bet on Southampton. It's more so a bet against Watford. and Liverpool City moneyline parlay plus 105. And again, there's a couple others like Newcastle is very interesting to me. And I think that Leeds and Norwich goals is very interesting to me that I'll be definitely looking at.
Yeah, I'm with you. There will be ads. I think that Chelsea Newcastle is definitely one that certainly gets added once you see those lineups. All right, for me, as you can see, I've got two sections here. Far left is just half unit bet books. Got some big wagers here, so just half unit. Burnley on that team total over 1.5 goals at plus 285. Burnley on that clean sheet at plus 270. Wolves on that clean sheet at plus 250. And then the next one over is full unit bets here. We'll take Wolves on the double chance at minus 150. Burnley on the double chance at minus 140. Leeds, Norwich, both teams to score over 2.5 at plus 112. And then the same bet there in Arsenal versus Leicester at plus 105. I love your Liverpool bet. Probably going to go ahead and jump on that. As you said, Chelsea, Newcastle definitely gets an ad. We'll be adding City to it for sure at some point over the course of the weekend. So, yeah, potential add-ons, tons of add-ons, I would say here. So, looking good. Yeah. And then, of course, once we get our prop bets from DraftKings, our shots, our offsides, our corners, certainly start to look for ad stuff. But another good weekend here, Premier League football. Look forward to watching the games. Anything else, Matt, or are you just screaming to go get some basketball in, man?
No, I'm not. So I'm actually thinking about when we're talking about parlays and stuff like that. I'm thinking another good leg is like Newcastle plus 2.25 or plus 2.5.
They're not getting blown out.
That one makes so much sense. Like get just plus 2, whatever. Like that one makes a ton of sense. I would be shocked if they got blown out by Chelsea. Absolutely shocked. So yeah, leave it at that. Go Hoosiers, and happy March Madness, everyone.
That one other thing I meant to ask you earlier. I will let you go. No concerns here with the Chelsea. Obviously, they're freezing the thing. I mean, players will put that to the side when they step on the pitch, and I mean, just no issues there. I mean, something happened that second half. I don't know what happened that second half, but that was a different team.
That was the other reason, actually, that I forgot to mention too. It's just like kind of what I mentioned, the turmoil at Everton right now, just with the new managerial stuff, all of that. There's turmoil right now at Chelsea, whether you like it or not, and who knows how it's going to be. Let's say Newcastle bag one early, like. What's the crowd going to be like with Chelsea? They're a club. First of all, I hate Chelsea. They're my most disliked club in the Premier League because they're just a club that's just it's bought. It's not to me. It's not true roots. It's just a club that was bought by Abramovich, and he bought world-class players and made them into a world-class team. And that's not me. That's not what I'm about. But yeah, so I think that there absolutely is turmoil right now, and I want to bet against the turmoil a little bit too.
Okay. All right. I think both teams scoring over 2.5 is going to end up being the bet in that game, and especially at plus 145. So I think that was going to be a real easy bet right there to cash. All right, let's go ahead and enjoy our day. Again, Premier League action, guys. Thanks you guys for watching. Great comments, likes, fantastic comments. So enjoy match week number 29, and we'll see you guys back here next week. Have a good one.
Thanks, Jason.